What's going on, everybody?
What's up? What's up? Happy Monday. We're so excited for another live tonight.
So while everybody is joining on, shout out our Facebook family. Shout you guys out, man. You guys been doing phenomenal inside the Facebook group. Keep on engaging, keep on dropping all of the deals that you guys been doing, man. When I tell you, it's super phenomenal. We're so proud of everybody in the Facebook group taking action, camaraderie, and welcome everybody on YouTube.
Yes. So we got a special guest tonight. We're so excited for her to come on. One, because she's a serial entrepreneur, right? So she does a little mobile home investing. She has her own natural skincare line. She's an actress. I mean, she's going to get into everything that she has to offer, but we're definitely excited for you guys to hear her story, not only in mobile home investing, but just in entrepreneurship as well.
Yes, no, for sure. And it's always amazing, again, when we have, we able to have guests on that, do more in life, right? I mean, it's literally pushing forward. And for me, it's a pleasure because I've actually been blessed to know Bryana now, man, I want to say over like 6 years plus. So to see the growth and, on both of our ends is always extremely powerful, and just, can't wait to really dive into this interview. So, man, with that, first, just a few things. Questions, right? If you guys have questions, keep your question towards the end of the interview. I know some of you guys may have questions for Bryana or us, but keep them towards so that way we can definitely get through the interview. Also, make sure you share this. Share this live with at least 3 to 4 people, right? Again, we're on here. We're going to be back Wednesday. And listen, if you have not already signed up for the absolutely free webinar that we have on Wednesday, make sure you sign up. We're so excited to get started with you guys. But without further ado, let's go bring in on our guest. So I am proud to bring in Miss Bryana R.
What's good? Hey, you guys.
Hey, how are you?
I am doing fabulous. How are y'all?
That's awesome. Blessed. Glad to have you.
Yes.
Thank you all for having me. This is, like, as you said, Byron, a long time coming. So it's super dope to sit here with both of y'all. And first, let me just say that I am just so proud of y'all and blessed to have y'all as friends. I think this is what it's all about, as we enter new levels of life. We can all be growing as long as we've grown in our respective lanes. We can still grow together, right? So when I got on this journey to have you guys ahead of me and to foresee all the things that you guys have gone through, because I was hitting Byron like, what this?
I love it.
Oh man, that's so dope, B. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy again how you say how things just come around full circle. Like, who would have known that when we all first met, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be doing mobile home investing down the line, right? And so, it's so dope. So, again, like I said, without further ado, tell us a little bit about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Where you from? You rep your hood.
Okay, well, I'm living here in Chicago by way of LA. What's good? We on the west side with it. I moved to Chicago because, as you mentioned, Byron, I do other things. I'm a working actor here in Chicago. I moved here to get into the conservatory program at Second City, which is their most competitive and hardest program to get in and stay in. You audition to get in and you audition to stay in. So I just graduated from there January of this year.
Okay.
City alumni, what's good? Saturday Night Live, call me. Yeah. But beyond that, I've always had a passion for just doing my own thing. I've been in the hospitality industry most of my adult life, right? So from the time I could work up until literally last December, I've always been in food and beverage, whether it's been in family dining, Michelin dining, whether it's Beverly Hills or on the river in Chicago. I've seen it all, and I've pretty much done it all in the restaurant workspace. And I was definitely ready to take that leap of entrepreneurship. probably before I knew what I was really going to do, I knew I wanted to buy. So I almost bought a condo here. And this is why you got to have wealthy friends. All my wealthy friends. This was 2018. They said the market was going under correction in the next 24 months. Do not buy.
Wow.
They told me, do not buy. The market was going under correction. And then, you know, here we are 2 years later, pandemic happened, correction happens. Not that anybody knew that's what would lead to it, but just how the market works, right? So I sat on that for a while and I was like, whatever. And then also I hadn't acquired 2 years of living here yet. I had only moved here December 2017. I still had to acquire 2 years of working. You know how that is when you're trying to get the loan and extra credit was there, but work presentation wasn't, right? So I sat on it. I kept grinding. I was making good money. I started stacking. And then I'm like, hold on, what Byron over there doing? Hold on. Like, maybe this was what God had, because remember, Byron, we had stayed in contact all these years. Like all these years, you would hit me up every once in a while. I would check on you every once in a while. And once I got here, I was like, you know, you don't know why God keeps people in your past. It's at a distance, right? And I would stop for photography, and Byron would be driving by somewhere and be like, yo, what the is this?
All the time,
Right. Fast forward, you are now my friend and mentor, the both of you, and it's just such a blessing to know, Sharnice, I don't know your entire story, but to know a bit about Byron's story and to see you partner with him not only as his woman, but as his genuine business partner, to be a part of a lot of decisions that not only he makes personally, but also that y'all make together, right? So it's been such a blessing to have y'all close and to be able to reach out and to be in a space of confidant, to be like, hey, this is where I'm at. This is how I feel. Like, nah, G, that's normal. Keep it. You got the Byron be like, you got the answer. You just told me what you
No, that's so dope, man. Again, it's just, you know, even talking about the journey, you know, listen, I commend you for moving from a warm climate to a cold winter climate. You know, that's a big adjustment, you know. But like you said, just
depression and all of that. I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, what the hell is going on?
No, seriously, no, it's definitely a journey. Like you said, it's just awesome to see the growth and see where we are now, to even be on here and to even have this timely piece, which is we're gonna look back at 5 years from now and like, you remember when we did this interview? Let's look at what both, you know, all of us are right now. So that's amazing.
Yes. So Bryana, let's hop into your mobile home investing journey. So how did you get introduced to it? Like, why mobile homes?
Definitely because of y'all. Like, I'm 1000% given literally alignment and the credit to y'all. I think it's all about being in the right space, because you think about us on social media, there's so much feed coming into our site and what we absorb and what we scroll past, right? And I just kept seeing you guys posting about this thing, and I'm like, something is there. I don't know what it is. Something is there, but I'm gonna just keep following it, right? I'm just gonna keep my eye on it. And when I got ready to leave my job, which was December 2019, I had already made the decision that I was getting the course and that this is where I was starting. So by the time I had quit my job, I had already started the modules. I think I knocked those out in like 3 or 4 days. It altogether 3 or 4 days, but it took me about a week because I was traveling back and forth to LA. I had lost my grandmother during that time, all during the time of me making these decisions. But I do believe that things, big shifts happen in our life when we're coming upon another big shift, right? So I knew part of that passing was, it had to be for a greater good. And it had to be for me to continue to do what I had already told my grandma I was going to do, right? So I was like, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. And took the course, finished that up. I had already sent my car back to California. So my first entrepreneurial experience ended up being me doing car rental. So what I was doing was I had sent my Honda back to Cali. I had got with a good girlfriend who's also in real estate. And she was like, sweetie, you live in the West Loop. Why do you have a car? You're wasting money on paying for the garage. behind me because you don't. I was walking to work. I was working on the river, so not on the river. No. I was working on the river. I wasn't working the river. Okay, let's be clear. You know, shit be going down at City Winery. I don't know. So. Right. And I was like, dang, I would literally go to my car just to go to Target and be like, where the fuck did I park? Like, where's my car? Like, all right, time to get rid of it. So once I knew that I was continuing on this journey, I was like, I need a vehicle and it can be written off. I talked to Bryana, who I'm pretty sure some of your following is, you know, and she was like, baby, your car is a write-off. You in real estate, it's a write-off.
Right.
Like, right. So I was like, bet. So I went and got a new car, and I got a car that I never even thought I would ever, because I'm not a car person. Like, I don't care about that. Like, I hopped in something that I was like, okay, this is what good credit next to nothing down. This is how we walking out, okay?
Right.
I sold cars in the past, so I knew negotiating at the end of the month. I knew how to get in between all of that. So bells and whistles, barely out the pocket. Credit will get you everywhere. Let me tell y'all, credit will get you everywhere. Anybody watching, fix that damn credit, period. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. So that was December 28th. By January 1st, I'm looking at leads. And I find a couple of them that reach back out to me via Facebook. And I find this one lead that I'm like, oh, I'm super confident in working this particular deal. And the girl was selling her mobile home for $8,000, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, huge. The square footage was probably like 900. Oh, wow. Big mobile home, 3-bed, 1 bath. Yeah. Spacious, right? And I talked to her and she's kind of like, oh, well, you know, kind of iffy. And I'm like, all right, I let it be. Cool. 2 weeks later, she gets back at me. Her buyer fell through. Now, typically, we know that means they didn't get approved by the park. There's so many reasons why the purchase falls through, right? So she hits me back and I'm like, okay. I was already confident by the looks of the pictures that I wasn't buying at what she was selling. I knew that. I was confident in the fact that I was not buying at what she was selling. And what I did was I called multiple people in that area looking for a handyman. I'm on Yelp looking for a handyman. I even reached out to you two if you guys had a guy. So he was my first guy that came out with me. The gentleman you guys referred to me. And he was like, okay, well, this is what I see. For as far as inspection go, this, and this is how much I can do it for what you want and what you're trying to do so that it can sell at the price that you want. I'm like, okay, always get 2 to 3 people, right? This is just facts of life. So I get another set of eyes on it, and he's local, which was even better because he wasn't going to charge that fee of traveling and bringing his crew and so on and so forth. He tells me the exact same thing. So that said well with my heart that nobody was trying to get over on me. The same exact inspection that I got from the gentleman 2 days before, I got from the next gentleman, and I also got it at a better price. So upon working this deal, you happened to reach out to me, and I really believe in manifesting and putting things in the universe, Byron, because while I was making this decision, I was asking the universe to bring me a partner, because although I was confident in what I had learned in y'all course, I felt like having someone with me, you go farther, right? You go fast, go alone. You want to go further, go together. And that's something I believe. And it just so happens, you call me Saturday morning like, yo, what's good? I know somebody, and I think y'all would really get along. Background. She's about her shit, right? So literally, she and I are on the phone within an hour in the same language, right? So fast forward, I tell her about this deal, and she's like, what park? Oh, my cousin's already approved in that park. He's working on the deal right now. So I'm like, that means I don't have to fill out, because I had already went up there, got the rent, the information information. And I'm like, all right, cool. If I ain't got to run my credit, I'm not going to run my credit. Not because my credit's bad, but if I don't have to keep getting these inquiries, I'm not going to keep getting these inquiries.
Exactly.
What they did is they went into their own private partnership, you know, however they were going to do their half of the deal. And then, you know, we still did it 50-50.
Yeah.
And it worked out great. It made the transition to purchase easy because he was already approved. The park already knew his face. It was just a smooth sell. So get down to the actual deal. How do we go from $8,000 to $3,000? Okay, like I said before, I used to sell cars. Mobile homes are manufactured vehicles. They treat it just like a vehicle, which is why you go to the Department of Motor Vehicles when you're doing your titles and X, Y, and Z, right? So I'm talking to the young lady, and she's like, oh, well, you know, this is what we had it priced for because this is what we bought it for. And she's young. It's her first place by herself. There's all these emotional attachments, just like with cars. Why people think their POS car is worth 10 grand on the street, but the dealership only gives you 2,000 if you're lucky, right?
Right.
Very bad. So I had to explain to her. I remember getting on the phone. I said, would you buy a 1973 vehicle for $8,000, or would you put that $8,000 down on a new Nissan?
And I know her answer.
That was exactly how I had to, because people have emotional attachments and not everyone understands business and transaction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So with her already being in a predicament, she was behind on lot rent, which is typically one of the factors of why people are trying to get out of their home, right?
Mm-hmm.
Behind on lot rent. Her mother was not happy with the way that she had already been previously looking for buyers, right? She left it in her hands, and her mom wasn't happy with that, right? So I knew all of her hot spots, and I knew why she wanted to get out. And to be honest with you, all people have to do is buy y'all course, literally. Yeah. Because every situation, the deal might not look the same, but people are the same. We all bleed red. We all have issues, right? Once you understand people and just talk to people on a human level, help them to understand what is going on because they're thinking with their heart. They want the cash because they're in a bad situation, they're strapped, and they have so many memories attached to this thing, right? So after just going over it with her, like, look, this is what needs to be done. Also, this is the year of the home.
Yeah.
Right.
You can buy a car this year with what you're asking for, right? So, and no one else is clearly knocking down the door.
Right.
Right. Nobody's blowing this door down. This ain't no competitive sell. So let's just get to it because guess what? The first is in 2 days. So what you gonna do? You're already behind 3 months. And that eviction is gonna go on your record with an additional payment for lot rent. So how can I help you? Let's work together. This can be beneficial to both of us.
When I tell you, everybody listening right now, I see somebody just said, hopefully they don't play us no more. For some reason, I tried to put a comment up and it booted us out. Said, glad I watched this. I sell cars also. For anybody watching this, when I tell you, she just dropped so many gems on how to negotiate. Like if you are watching this right now and you asking like, how do I talk to a seller? Literally, she just gave y'all game. Can you say that one line? Because to me, I just learned something, right? That one line is a game changer. Tell a line you said about the Nissan.
So the home was a 1973 home. She wanted $8,000 for it. And I simply asked her, I said, would you pay $8,000 for a vehicle that is a 1973? Or would you put that $8,000 down on a brand new Nissan? And because you have to talk in people's language, right? Well, you got to put people on their level, right? So cool, I'm gonna get on your level. I have to talk to you in a way that you'll understand this.
Yeah.
You have so much emotion attached that you think the value is higher. And for you, it is higher. But for any person coming here that's going to purchase this, whether they're going to live in it or invest and flip or wholesale it, guess what? It's not worth that. So how can I help you? How can we talk at a fair price, right? This is what you owe. Boom. I'm going to take care of that. Never walk away with this and you owe nothing now.
Yes.
Or You pay that, and whatever the balance is, if this doesn't close by the first, I'll take care of the first month of lot rent. If this does not close, the first was in 2 days.
Just giving game. If you are listening, I think right now we got 38 people on here, and 38 people on. Make sure you sharing this. Make sure you share this with your friends and family. And get some people on here because she's giving you guys not only. Again, here I like this comment, right, from somebody in our Facebook group, right? Find their pain point and turn it into a positive, right? And that right there is so powerful because the one thing I heard in that, right, was how can I help you? Mm-hmm. Most people who want to help you are not giving you the best options. They're trying to help themselves. But in this case, it was just like, yo, these are your options. Let me help you, right? And again, it's just, I see Leary is on great negotiating strategy. I'm placing these gems in my arsenal, right? Because it is. If you on here, I'm hoping you got a pen and pad because the reason everybody we have on here, you're going to learn a new strategy. And that was beautiful. So you kind of walked us through, more so, like how you found it, how you end up acquiring that deal, which is pretty dope. So what was that final number again? What did you end up getting her down to?
$3,000. Mom wanted, because they had bought it for about, I think, 75. And I had to explain to her, cars lose value as soon as they leave the lot. You bought a $60,000 car. It's already 40 grand when you drive out that driveway at a dealership. Mm-hmm. A mobile home. Every year that this home is here, it loses its value. Mm-hmm. And from there, we went from the 4,000. She was never going to get 4. Unfortunately, I was never going to do that. My budget was, I literally strictly went by everything y'all said. When I decided to do this, I made sure I had 10 grand because I didn't know if I was going to come up on something, but I was going to it with at least one home in my belt in January, right? And I didn't want to break no more than 5. Mm-hmm. So partnership allowed me wiggle room because if we split this, we have wiggle room for whatever may happen as we're going through renovation, right? Mm-hmm. And things happen. And we got to 4 and mom is upset. Like I told you, mom wasn't happy. The daughter's living there, young chick, 2 kids, weird situation. And mom was like, well, why did you tell her? Well, mom's too busy at work. She couldn't really do it. So the girl had to do it. And listen, this is business. We put numbers out there. I'm sorry, mom, that you weren't a part of the conversation, but let me help you understand what we talked about and why this is beneficial. Mm-hmm. Right? Because she's just looking at it as her daughter being irresponsible, X, Y, and Z. But at the end of the day, all the money was going to mom. She had been the one picking up the slack, which is why they were behind because mom got her own crib, right? This girl got her own. So with that being said, mom wanted to land at 4. No. So let's talk about you being behind on that lot rent. Do you have any ways of supplementing for that before this closes, right? So for those people who are listening, whether you are an investor or you're someone who lives in a mobile home, if you talk with your park, there are a lot of charities in the community that help people pay their lot rent. And this girl went to a Catholic charity that was just up the street. They had helped her the month before, but it wasn't the full payment, but they give you a little something. So we use that to our benefit later down the line when COVID hit and we started calling Salvation Army. Who's gonna help us pay this? Not that we didn't have it. We didn't want to use our own money. If we don't have to use our own money, why would we? There's people that pay this. So let's get on the phone, right? So anyhow, we landed on, I think they were at 35. And it was a no for me still. 35. Lot rent is due in 2 days, and lot rent was $509. We're giving you 35. That 5 is going to the lot rent paid in 2 days, unless you want to pay it because we ain't gonna close this deal. Right. Right.
I love it. And you just dropped another gem, right? About the charities.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna hop in and say. So yeah, that's even parks that we've dealt with. Yeah, so every park is gonna have some type of charity, some type of funding program that they can help their tenants in the park with the lot rent.
Yes. Listen, if you're getting some game, I want you to go ahead and put Jules in the comments if you're getting game right now. Because when I tell you, Bryana she giving y'all some not only things to say, negotiation strategies, how to pay lock rent strategies. Really, really listen in because Bryana is dropping some gems. Go ahead in the comments. I want y'all to put Jules if you are definitely getting some stuff. On it, we see Joanna says Jules. I love it.
I love it.
We got Lena B, Jules. Who else we got? Boss Mom Living. I see Jules. And we got Fearless Content. I appreciate that. Appreciate it. So you talked about partners, right? Mm-hmm. And the lovely thing about it, shout out Queen Wanaki. She's been rocking with us since the beginning. And, again, when I connected you guys, as far as, that was something that, I was taking a long shot in the dark. I was just like, I think both of their energy be dope. I know Wanaki had been wanting to do it. You were like, hey, I want to get into it. So I'm like, definitely want to just connect them. Let's just see how it goes. So, like, that partnership ended up being pretty dope. That was the thing about it. Talk about how important that partnership was to your deal.
Man, this partnership or that partnership turned into a friendship and long-time partnership to come. We actually got something we're working on now. But what I will say is I had the car sales experience, so I was comfortable negotiating. I understood what I was dealing with. And she had wholesaling single-family home experience, right? Mm-hmm. So although that is not the same as a mobile home, she had so many tools and so much foundation already there to where when we did hit those bumps, we were learning them together, or we would reach back into our little notes. Okay, well, they talked about this on my it was dope to have that partnership, and especially going through the same educational courses, because we both had those aha. Okay, yeah, they said this, something like this could happen. Like, just being on the same page, and the communication was there. She and I are both over communicators, and I love that. I'd rather somebody tell me 15 times the same thing than me not just hear from you, right? Mm-hmm. And it also helped when I couldn't travel. As I told you, I had started renting my car out. And I was like, cool, this car can pay for itself. I get to drive something dope. It pays for itself. And when it's booked, I have a partner who could also oversee and go look at things and check up or do the showing, right? Yeah. So all of these factors of having that partnership when you're on the same page with someone, that you don't have to micromanage. And I'm a little perfectionist, right? So on my hands, I want to know.
Right. Like, what's good?
I need to see, right? And because we had that over communication, because we would talk about something before either one of us went in, it would be like, okay, so you gonna go in tomorrow? Bet. Tell me what X, Y, and Z looking like, X, Y, and Z, this and that. And that's how we functioned through that whole experience, was just like over communication, and definitely taking the time out, because our deal was not in our state. It was out of state. It was in Indiana, which is next door, but still, that's still a drive, right? Me, I was in West Loop, and because she lived South Side, she was getting there a little quicker, or it was more convenient when she got off work and I was doing things. So it just that kind of support where you're on the same page and you're both hungry. Issa Rae said something that has always stuck with me. She said, when you're looking to create and to partner, you look to your left and your right. You don't always got to climb up thinking that the person up there is helping. The person to your left and right of you is so they're going to work just as hard as you. And that's exactly what that partnership was. I looked to my left, looked to my right, and she was on both sides. And it was like, okay, like, we're going to do this. Like, we're going to get through this shit for real.
Man. I love it, man. Shout out Wanaki, man. Yes. She's been rocking with us from literally day one, like first webinar we ever did. So, man, I'm always appreciate him for that. So yeah, let's take a step back. So you walked us through how you got the deal. You was able to negotiate the deal to 3,000. We talked about how you formed a partnership on this deal. So now let's talk about how important that relationship piece is, as far as like building relationships with the park managers, with the handyman. Like, how was that relationship piece important in order for you to now sell the home, right? So we want to get into what you actually sold the home for.
Right. So as I mentioned before, Wanaki, her cousin was already approved to the park. They were on the same page. He had also in the course. Dope. Love it. I'm like here for it, right?
Yeah.
So he was already approved because he was working on a deal. So I was like, bet that means, you know, I'm gonna lead this deal because, you know, it's my contact. I made the connection. It would be weird to start bringing somebody in talking money. You don't do that unless it's not closed and you just need a different face. But when you're going through that whole process of inspecting, talking about what needs to be done, getting them to understand, connecting on that emotional level with the seller, you do all of that. You can't just throw somebody else in the mix because now they like, who this person asking me for money, right? So I took lead on the deal, but Wanaki's cousin Trayvon was already approved in the park, so it was smooth sailing. We had already, and here's the thing with mobile home parks, not every manager is going to be receptive to investors or just people in general. Some of them just don't like people. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't like people. They're not good people. They're not good people sometimes, right? And that's just the fact of life, right? So we had already had this inkling that if we told them we were investors, that might not be the best way to go. So we just had to rock with our instinct and just left it as this person's approved in the park. He's trying to buy, maybe this didn't go through, he found something else. So anytime it was related to the actual park manager and going to the office, again, being on the same page, was Trayvon's duty. You connected with the park. You are the only one talking to the park. They only know your face.
Right.
When it comes to talking to the seller, they think you my brother. Bet. My brother is going in your name and that's all they need to know. They're dealing with me as far as transaction until it comes to the title.
Yes.
Right. So it's all about, for me, reading the room. That's something we're acting, right? You walk in, read the room. Read the room. What is this room telling you? What does the room need from you? Because it's not what you need from the room. A lot of times we go into deals, think about what we can get from it. No, what does this deal need from me? Right?
Yeah.
So Trayvon dealt with the park managers. I solely dealt with the sellers. From there, once we closed and got that transaction going, it was time to choose who we were going to work with as far as contracting or should I say having a handyman. And with the price is right. Like, listen, he spotted the same stuff guy one spotted. So let's go with guy two. He's local. He works in this area already. And yes, he gave us the option of, listen, I can go pick everything up myself and this is going to be the price for it. Or I can tell you what to purchase. You make sure you order it and I can pick it up because I have a flatbed. And Menards and Home Depot was within a mile. So for me, I learned a lot. Once again, taking lead on being the point of contact. Now I know what baseboards I'm looking for. Now I know what siding this kind of, what skirting this needs. You start learning the materials. Can't nobody get over on you when you start learning the material. Subflooring, paneling, like all of these different things that I would have never known had we not gone that direction. Yes, it was the hard way, but it was the cost-effective way. We were even in there painting. We were like, okay, he's a one-man show and he's working pretty fast, but we come in here and paint, we cut costs. And we all got a little bit of time because it was COVID. So what the fuck else we gonna do but go up in there and work? Let's work.
I love it.
Let's work. So and that's what we did. We did everything hands-on that we could, which was materials, you know, and even putting in some labor. We got our hands dirty. That was the way we was gonna see a profit.
Nice.
That's
so dope because, like you said, like that's to me, that's how I had my, you know, both of us, we had our fast crash course because it was like, all right, we never done any type of rehabs. So it's just like, oh, okay, we gotta get this. And we stayed in Menards so much that, you know, I could literally go in Menards with my eyes closed and find what I needed. Right? Just because that's how often we were in there when we were starting out. And so, you know, I love that. So what did you end up, you know, after all said and done, you got the house, you know, rehab. And first, you guys did a phenomenal job on that rehab. I was like, dang, okay, I see y'all.
Did. And like she said, y'all was in the trenches. Y'all was saving money. Y'all like, look, we going to get in here and paint. We going to do little stuff. That way we can go ahead and save some of that, that budget. That way we can go ahead and see a profit.
Absolutely.
So finding the buyer, right? Finding the buyer, because I think that sometimes that can be a challenge, but finding the buyer, and walk us through finding that buyer and then closing that deal.
Finding the buyer was the hardest because we closed January, 31st, right before the 1st. All of March, from March 1 to whatever, the last day of March was renovation.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, February. How the hell I skip February? I'm sorry. All of February. So February to March, I want to say 1st or 2nd. It took him 30 days. He worked solo, and we put in our hands in there, and we were ready to sell, March 1st or 2nd. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go where I found the lead. I'm gonna put this on Facebook. So we all had our own platforms that we were advertising the home. So we all chose 2 platforms each and put them on all the platforms. And then we made a jot form. Thank you, Mobile Home Elite Investors. We made a form, and all the leads went into our shared email. We had a shared email. All the leads went into the shared email. And from there, we had the conversations to figure out who was worth going out to talk to, because we don't live in this home, right? And we're not giving anyone keys to this home because we don't have that relationship with the park for them to show it. So let's really just be honest with what we're trying to do. And when we reach out to these leads, and the good thing about Jot Form asks questions about your credit score, how long you've been on the job. And because you go through the approval process with the park, and I already had a copy, I knew what you needed, right? Mm-hmm. Partners knew what you needed to get approved. So some people, we just didn't even take the time to reach out to. Save time. Time is money. So I'm not going to call you back or even respond to you because you don't qualify on paper, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
Right. So having that Jot Form definitely narrowed down, who should we now, who the list went from here to here. Make some calls and see, who will be available to show, whatever. And our buyer ended up being sight unseen, out of state, moving into Indiana cash.
Wow.
For earnest deposit, paid the rest upon arrival with their union.
Wow. So you turned 3. So all in, right? We turned $3K. How much were we in with renovations?
We kept our renovations within $2,000. So we were right at $5,000. And that was my personal goal, because I was like, I still got to treat this as if I'm doing this by myself. So when it came to numbers, and when it came to the materials and stuff, like I said, so blessed to have the guy that we had working on it, because he would send me a picture, like a screenshot. He would get online, he would go to Menards, screenshot, and say, hey, these are your 2 options. This is the one that's cost effective. This is the one that's pricier. They do the same thing. You make your own decision, right? And then when it came to the aesthetics, that's where I was able to have that wiggle room, because I love design. So Wannacle was like, girl, that's your alley. It's up to you. The carpet, flooring, the colors of the paint, that was totally up my alley. And I did my research. I started Googling, mobile home rehabs. I started Googling flipping homes, everything on Pinterest. What colors are appealing to buyers? What kind of floors are appealing to buyers? All of these things matter. You can't just go in and paint a home white and be like, move in, right? All of those things mattered. So I went and did that research, and I still passed it through the team, although they weren't like, they're like, whatever you say as far as aesthetic go, we already know you got it. But I still want to tell them, look, this is what I'm thinking. This is how much it costs. And if we go this way, we can get this paint at this price, but it's the midline, and it's going to do great, and it's going to cover this ugly color we got on here, right? All of those things. So, that all played a part in us closing in our budget. And then with COVID, we had that lot rent. We sat on that home for a long time. 5 months, actually. We didn't sell until June.
Yes, and it happened. I remember, and the reason why this interview is special to me is because, like you said, you sold in June, and I understand, right? We had a few conversations on how, and it was kind of frustrating, right? It was just like, it was almost like it's almost out of our hands. But everybody that's on here, Bryana, talk about some of the obstacles that was kind of thrown in the way, I guess, with COVID. Like, how did that really, when you talk about keeping just your mental right, how did you get through that?
I'm not going to even lie. I was meditating heavy because I had to trust myself. I just left this job. There's a desire in my heart, and I'm not going to be led to where there is no fruit. So how do I keep my mind right? I started meditating heavy. Heavy. On top of that, I just kept positive affirmations within our group text. As far as my partners, I would be like, we got this. And then the energy is contagious. So the next text, Ronically's like, yep, we gonna kill it. This is it. Like, we got this, then Trayvon, so keeping that energy of like, listen, yes, this is frustrating. Yes, we are all sick of it. But we gotta keep putting out the right energy if we expect anything to come back to us tenfold. And I think the hardest part was we originally had the house priced at 15, and then within 2 weeks we came down to 12.5, and we were getting hits at 12.5.
Yeah.
So I know, in fact, had COVID not happened, we would have been able to sell at 12.5 because we were getting strong hits at 12.5. And we went down to 12.5, 3 weeks into March, because the 15, we were kind of getting hits. It was kind of tricky. And then as soon as we went to 12.5, COVID happened. We went into lockdown. People start getting scared, right? People are to move now. People are trying to figure out what's going on. A lot of people that reached out to us, their hours had got cut when we started talking about finance. Just people in the real world. The park, which really, really, really put a nail in us, was not allowing anyone to move in or out during the time of the lockdown.
Wow.
That particular park wasn't allowing anything until that ordinance lifted. So it didn't matter if we sold it within, a month of having it ready, because the park wasn't allowing it.
Wow. So let me hop in real quick, because that's what people need to understand too when it comes to mobile home parks. So yes, all mobile home parks, they may look similar. It may even be like similar corporations that owns the parks, but each individual park is going to have their own rules and regulations. So just like Bryana just said, the specific park that they were doing business in wouldn't even allow them to have someone come and do an application between the months of like March and, they finally sold it in June, but because of what was going on for COVID. But then it is parks that, again, even a park that we do business in, they were still allowing people. So that's really going to depend on the individual park. And that's not even just about COVID. That's with anything when it comes to the park approvals. What the actual tenant or tenant buyer needs to have to be approved in the park is going to depend on each individual park's rules and regulations. So I think that's very important to touch on, because we get that question all the time, and no park is one and the same. Each park is going to be different. Each park manager is going to be different. I think you touched on that too, Bryana. You've been dropping gems that a lot of park managers, some park managers are going to say like, hey, they're going to give you a hug. They're going to welcome you. And the other park managers are going to be like, deuces, bye. Like, they're going to be rude, but you can't take that serious. You got to keep pushing. So, man, I love it. So what was the end number? Once you finally sold?
We sold cash at $9,500. And we would come down from 12.5 to 95 once we started realizing a lot of people that were contacting us during COVID had their hours were cut. And that was people lost their job, even where I was living. You think because somebody in a certain space or this or that they are exempt. Nobody was exempt. And at that point, I just had to be human about it, right? Let's take profit out. Let me be human, because I'm a person whose mother has been laid off and had to do a short sale on her home, right? So then I'm like, okay, what is fair? This is a 3-bedroom, right? And if 3 adults or 2 adults and a kid or just 3 roommates, how would this be fair, right? So we all agreed, me and my partners agreed on 95, and we said we would move. And that was it. We said 95, that's the most we're gonna cut it, and we're not gonna move, and the right buyer is gonna come. The right person who understands the value in this home and what we've done and what we've just gone through as far as maintaining it during COVID, because that's another story. An empty mobile home for 3-4 months, plus the weather was up and down during COVID. Y'all remember the atmosphere was regulated. We got snow during COVID. We had a 70-degree day.
It was all over the place.
The Midwest, Chicago and Indiana was wilding during COVID.
Yeah.
So then more things arise that we were like, ooh, we might have to come out the pocket for that, right?
Right.
So when we talk about the right buyer, guess what? Our buyer, who bought sight unseen based on his daughter driving by the home and us showing it to her, she sent pictures to dad. Wife wanted it. He said, whatever the lady wants, she gets. He's a contractor of over 50 years. Everything that could have gone wrong with that home during its vacancy did. Elevation in the floor, because guess what? The change in weather, the hot, the cold, the rain, the snow. Now we got a little bit of elevation. Turns out there was no water damage. And I heard they do this at the gym. They just sit a weight because this needs to basically decompress, get the humidity out of it, basically. Well, Dad was like, easy. I've been a contractor for 50 years. Well, son comes check out the home after dad wires the earnest money, and son's an electrician, right? Son, look, all's well, ends well. Son agrees. They were getting it regardless, but guess what? Anything else go wrong? His son's an electrician. He's a contractor.
Yeah.
Call the right buyer.
Yeah.
Anything that could have gone wrong during the time of that vacancy, the air conditioner got stolen, right?
Oh, yeah. Remember that? Y'all told me that.
The air conditioner got stolen, right? So once again, having the right buyer sometimes mean having the person who's willing to deal with the kinks that happen. You know, those kind of things are out of our control, right? Mother Nature. We don't live in this home. We're the investors. This is what we've done. Here are the before and afters. I can show you while my handyman was laying, as you can see in the pictures, document. We had documentation for everything that could have gone wrong. We had it before, we had it during renovation, and then we had post renovation. So you get a threefold of us being honest people and saying, hey, this is what it looked like when we bought, this is when he was fixing, and this is what it looked like after. Anything that has occurred post, we already told you this is as is. This is an as is deal.
I love it.
Wow. And I know, Charlize has a question for you, but anybody on here listening to you, what I love about is, sometimes we get these interviews, right? Or we talk about the good things, right? We talk about, but a lot of times the problems aren't addressed, and you kind of laid it right out. Like, yo, these are the problems that we face too. And yes, it can have stress levels too, right? You say, hey, I had to meditate for those months. And you had a lot of unknowns or what could happen, but you guys stuck in there and you were able to make money from that deal, right? And that's the beautiful thing about it.
Yes. So, piggyback off Byron, Bryana, what would you say is some advice that you would give? We got 53 people on here. We even probably got some investors on here who are probably at that stuck moment. They probably, maybe they're still trying to find a buyer, or they're still working through the rehab, or whatever that looks like. And what I love about your story is that you guys kind of had some of those trials and tribulations, but you still kept positive and you still kept going. So what's some advice that you would give some of our listeners today as far as mobile home investing?
Be solution oriented, because at the end of the day, you still got to get rid of the home. Get frustrated is literally going to do nothing. Have your moment, be present with your emotions and have that moment of like, damn, okay, but now let's get to the solution, right? What's the solution to this, right? And then if you're in a partnership, always be on the same page. It got to a point where I was reading an amazing book, and I was just feeling good. And no matter what went wrong, I had this point of elevation. And Monica was like, what's good? Because you coming at me like you really lifted me. What's good? And I was like, this is the book I'm reading. She ordered the book. We were reading this book together that was elevating us both to live in our truest, highest, authentic self. during a time that no one in this world, except for if you're over 100 years old, had ever been through, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where it's just like nothing's gonna be perfect. And you guys say this in your courses, you know, you don't always want your first deal to be that piece of cake.
Right.
You start having that expectation that you're gonna fly through these, right? And God willing, my first deal was not a piece of cake. I'm thankful for it though. Like, I'm so thankful for it. The things that I have learned, some things you can only have lived experience. Being smart on paper is never enough. Lived experience. Go out there and just do it. If you never step out on yourself, if you never take a leap of faith, because I'm gonna always bet on me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Always bet on me. I got all black on me. What's good? Like, I'm always gonna bet on me. So of entrepreneurship in whatever you decide to do, and whether it's mobile home investing, whether it's starting your own business, it's always going to be something, right? So take the moment, be present with those feelings, and then move on, right? Let's get to the solution now.
I love it. All right, and I see a few people had questions. We're gonna get some questions for you guys for Bryana. I know one of the questions they asked you, what was that book? So
let me go to her page. Her name is Gabrielle. I can't believe I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'm about to tell y'all 1 second. Go to the page while I'm looking.
Yes. And so while she's looking, okay, I love it. You guys, want to know what's the book. And then I love this comment. Yes, that's when you gain wisdom, when you step out, right? You took a leap of faith. You took a huge step and you were tested. So like, I mean, you came in blazing about it, but just anybody on here, like how did our program really just kind of help you just like secure this deal?
How did your program? I'm sorry, I was looking at the book.
Okay. Well, first, what's the name of the book?
Okay, by Gabrielle Bernstein. Is it Manifesting the Life You Want? Check out my books here. Gabrielle Bernstein, and if she's on Instagram, Gabby, last name Bernstein, Bernstein. And her book is Super Attractor. Oh my gosh, Super Attractor.
Okay.
Super Attractor, everybody.
So once again, getting back into that manifesting, keeping that positive mindset, staying elevated, being authentic to who you are and what you want. So yes, Gabrielle Bernstein, Super Attractor.
Nice. I love it. So question, so basically how did the program help you to secure your deal, close the deal, all that good stuff?
The program was my guideline. It was my Bible, so to speak. It was my mobile home Bible. I did the steps. I did everything. If I see you doing something and it's working, why would I be a fool not to do that? And you always, you can do things with your own spin on it, but I really believe in taking the tools, making it your own. So yeah, when I'm talking to a buyer, a seller, it might not sound like how the two of you talk to them, right? The fact is, the foundation and the fundamentals are there. So I literally used the courses. What I did was I took screenshots of different modules that had X amount of bullet points that I knew would probably help me throughout. That way I wouldn't have to always pull up my laptop. I would literally just go to my little mobile home album and like go through and I'd be like, ooh, this is where they talk about it, right? And trusting, people don't have to know you guys to know what you do is working, right? The proof is in the pudding. And because I've already had that relationship with you guys, I'm like, whatever they're doing, I won't end. Only a fool is skeptical, right? Like, no, seriously, because I think
that's real though.
It takes a certain amount of emotional and financial intelligence to know that something works. Only scared money don't make money. And I know people love to say it's a great rhyme and rhythm, but the truth is scared money don't make money. You have to invest something in order to see a return. So if that for me was only 5,000, not that I'm just this wealthy person. You'd never invest in anything that you cannot afford to lose. I was okay if I could not figure this out with the 5,000, right? Which is why I kept that as our budget as a group, as a partnership. But I dude, there was no way we were going to renovate this home and at least not break even, right? So what did I lose? I gained experience, but what did I lose if I broke even? Even if I didn't profit, I still broke even, right? So, you know, the steps work. I think people want the fast track. People want to just get in and be like, and some people have those glory stories. I see some of the people you post, and God bless them, man. I'm like, they live in. Right. Go home and flip it by that weekend, wholesale, 10K profit, and I love it. But that wasn't my story, and I got to be authentic about my story, right? And maybe that will happen down the line, but for me, that was my first deal. So work the steps. Stop trying to skip the line because you still need to have the knowledge, right? Or else somebody gonna work you. Period. You got to know the knowledge.
Yeah,
man,
I love it.
That's so powerful because you know I love this. You know this interview because this is the first interview where you talked about the problems. Right, you focus on. I mean, you have so many things that don't like. You have to think about COVID, unexpected. For a park to say, "Yo, we not letting nobody in here," you can't do. It's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. Absolutely, you just have to sit there and wait patiently and say, "I hope this thing is up." And every day, I'm pretty sure it's like, okay, all right. Oh wow, 10 days. Oh, 20 days. We at 40 days now. Like, imagine, like you said, the mental and for everybody listening, I really want like. Bryana represents resilience. You represent resilience because everything was okay. So you started off, the key thing you said was this solution being solution based, right? You want to be solution based, and your resilience because you kept on coming up with solutions, no matter what wall was thrown in your way. You're like, okay, we're gonna go above it, through it, we're gonna tunnel under it, whatever that looks like. We're going to get this to the finish line. So. Man, I mean, when I tell you big shout outs for you, and I think that it's even dope the fact that like some things I learned today, and we kept in contact during the deal. I'm like, really? You know, that's what's so dope about it, man. So I mean, everybody on here, when I tell you, this is one you really should have really like listened to because again, we talk about a lot of how to and things, but Bryana really talked about the things that can happen, and those things happen, and she still made it through. So that was amazing.
Yes. So we're gonna
shall I tell them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're gonna tell them.
We're gonna go ahead and launch. So we know what's this? Holiday week. What they call this Black Friday week, and you know we definitely got some Black Friday. We call it Mobile Home Friday. Sales going on. Now we did some pre-launching and we was like, oh, we're gonna wait to the webinar, but I told Byron, why not? Let's go ahead and launch tonight on the YouTube live.
Yep. So now I'm gonna warn y'all because sometimes Facebook be hating, right? But our elite e-course, right? The course that Bryana's talking about, normally priced at $499, okay, valued at $19.97, but again, we priced it at $499. B is my home girl, and only since we go way back, we're gonna bless y'all. I just want to put it in the chat. We doing it for $100, $99. What you can get this course for? I just dropped it in the chat,
and that starts now, and that goes from now until next Monday for Cyber Monday. So don't hit me up December 1st, like, hey, can I get that $99? No, it starts now until next Monday, December 1st. The price will be back up, and we'll be launching our new course soon, which will be at a very high value. So you want to go ahead and get in at this price right now during this Black Friday week.
Yes, and the reason why I want you to get this I want you to say I paid $100 because we got 60 people on here. We needed at least 5 interviews for next year in February. We want you to be on there. We want you to take advantage. We want you to have a story just like Bryana had, but again, a win. And man, so we're gonna get to the questions. Again, I dropped that link in there. Make sure you guys take full advantage. Only $99 for, again, the course. I love it real quick. Make sure, and I'm gonna hold y'all accountable. Renee, I hope you're in there. Good to see you in there. And hey, I hope Mr. Wilson, because I don't want to butcher your name, King.
I think it's probably Navarre.
Navarre, man, shout out King, man. We definitely got to hook you up. So B, the people got some questions for you. So let me scroll up if you got questions.
While we looking at them questions, y'all, man, $100. Is your future worth $100? Like you didn't spend $100 on something and you about to spend another $100 on Friday on something. Put that $100 on you. Bet on you for $100 for real, for real. It is the best decision I've ever made, for real.
Yeah, man. It's so dope. Now this one came early, right? Somebody wanted to know. I think you want to say I missed it, but did Bryana leave California to invest in another state?
I left California because I was investing in myself. I'm also an actor and I'm a working actor here in Chicago. So I moved here to get into the improv program at Second City and to get into their conservatory. Along the way, I was like, okay, why am I working for people when I can be working for me? So let's figure out how I can work for me.
I love it.
It's a general question. Yeah. So it says, do you cold call mobile home managers, just show up and ask what they have? Thank you. DG, what's going on? So I could take that one. You do both. You cold call, right? And I love the question that you asked. It's the answer in it, right? You cold call mobile home park managers. You ask, what do they have? Yes, you pop up. Now you can, right? COVID is over. Pop up. Hey, listen, what do you have? Like literally just like that. Good question, though. All right.
That's a good
I think
deal.
yes. Okay. Here is another one. So Facebook group said, while you were waiting for the home to close, were you doing other deals?
So initially we started looking at other deals, but then because of COVID, what we were afraid of happening was another home sitting for another 3 to 4 to 5 months and us paying lot rent on 2 parts. So what we said collectively as a partnership and me on my own, because we could have all went and did a separate deal solo. I took the safe route. And I took that route because once again, I wasn't getting unemployment. I had quit my job in December, right? So I bet on this. So I was in a be still space. That might not be your space. Maybe you do want to get another deal. Maybe that one's going to flip before the one that you got first. Sometimes that happens. But for me, I did play it safe based upon me not working. I wasn't getting any kind of assistance from the state. And I said, you know what? I need to sit on this and I need to be clear in what my intentions are for this home so that I can attract the right buyer. Because the moment that my attention starts separating and I'm, pulling from here and there, I'm no longer giving this home what it needs or paying attention to the signs that are coming to me as far as people who could be potential buyers.
Nice.
Here's one right here. I like it. I think you kind of went over this, but just for them, because again, we talked about COVID. So it says, Fearless Content says, how long did it take to resell from the moment of purchase?
Yep. So we bought from the seller January 30. We started renovating February 1. We were priced to sell March 1st, and we did not sell until first week of June, which was exactly when the ordinance lifted. The ordinance lifted, and we had 3 cash buyers offers in 1 day.
Wow.
That's
Amazing.
Look, somebody can feel your pain. Facebook user says, I remember calling park offices and they weren't doing business in the office for about 3 months. Yes.
Yeah.
This
it was a high demand.
This was one of those parks.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's see this question. This may be for all of us. Does it matter? What's up, Desmond says, does it matter if you're a resident of the state you're purchasing in?
No,
it don't matter.
it don't matter.
Doesn't matter. Someone said, I like this comment. Take the deal, guys. I paid full price when I joined the program. It's worth way more. Appreciate
thank you so much, Facebook. I'm so mad it don't show you guys in the Facebook group, but man, thank you so much. When I get off,
we see the replay.
Right, I'll be able to see it and I'll comment back. But man, that really means a lot because that's why we put these programs together.
Cassie said, woohoo, $100 can't even get no better than that. Y'all better take advantage of this blessing.
Yes, and look, we doing it for the full week. So look, if you don't buy it tonight, make sure you come back before next Monday. The link will be, in these comments. So make sure you go ahead and get it together.
Jen said, you eat $100.
For real, man, all the time.
Let's see. So Kia says, where do you find contractors and renters? Oh, Kia, we got to get you in a Facebook group.
Man, Nokia better take advantage of this $99. It's gonna give you the whole game. How to find the contractors, how you find your buyers, your tenant buyers, everything.
You want to give a brief gem? Just I'll say for the renters. We give it a renters piece.
For renters, once again, putting up those jot forms that are connected to your ads on whatever platform you're using. So if you have a ad on Facebook, maybe put a hyperlink to the jot form so they can click and fill it out versus just getting in your inbox clicking, is this still available?
It's still available, and then you reply back to them, and they don't ever say nothing.
The serious buyers are going to fill out the jot form, is what we learned.
Yes. Oh, yes, for sure. Let's see this next one.
Says, I like this. Do you have any concerns with the numbers going back up and going to a second lockdown? So, my opinion on that is, I think the mobile home space will still stay safe because it's basically it's the only non-subsidized affordable housing that's in the country, right? So that, a lot of mobile homes don't get Section 8. So you're going to start seeing more people actually to save money, right? And so they're not in a position, they may be living in an apartment or they may be living in a house or so that they're renting. They may actually downsize to come. The beautiful thing about it, during the shutdown, mobile home parks were actually reported at still 100% rent roll, meaning that they were getting, all their tenants were paying. This is nationwide. This is mobile home parks and storage facilities. People were still paying for their stuff in storage. People were still paying for their lot rent within mobile homes. So I think this is still a safe space. Even if they do another let's say a 2 to 3 month shutdown. I know they're talking about Biden was talking about shutting the country down for 4 months. I think it still be a safe space because if you're in a position where you live in a city or you live in a neighborhood where you can't have that affordability, now you have a place that you can safely go to. And again, us as mobile home investors, we will have a product for you.
Yeah, let me hop into real fast before we move on to the next question. When it comes to even, the shutdown and, what's it going to be like, you really honestly won't know until you put yourself out there. Because again, it goes back to each mobile home park is going to have their own individual rules and regulations. So you may find a park, even though the country or your state may be shut down or whatever that looks like, you may still find a park that will allow you to bring buyers in, will allow you to come in and do the application. And then there's going to be some parks where they're like, no, we don't want to deal with that right now. So you really won't know those answers. And that's to a lot of these questions. You won't know until you just get in the field. That's really the honest answer. You're not going to know how your individual situation is going to be until you actually get in the field.
Yes. No, that's game. This is for B. I like this. She said, so what's next for you, Bryana? Are you still doing deals with your partners or solo?
So Wanaki and I actually, I found a lead this past weekend.
Oh, okay.
Sent it over to her. Turns out she just did a wholesale in this same park and already has a relationship with the manager and said the manager is super investor friendly. So I'm like, bet, let's find a contractor. She's like, I actually already know someone who works in that park. Bet. So when I get off this call, I'm gonna be on a call with her. I'll figure out what the contractor says so we can come in and
let's get it. I love it. Working, she working. We gotta get like some sound bites and stuff like that. Because a few times I wish I had that DJ horn, like wow, you know what I'm saying? Let's see. So, somebody's asked, can you buy it as a gift? Yes, you can definitely buy the course as a gift. Just make sure you use their email address. Mm-hmm. Use the correct email address as well, guys. I know sometimes what happens, we're moving really fast and we made fat finger, and you need that email. Your email is very important when you're signing up because that is the email that you will log into the platform. So if you had that issue, just make sure you send us an email and we'll get everything fixed for you. But that way you don't have to even go through it. Oh man, let's see. Oh, Ruben, what's up, man? He said, I paid for the course this past Friday. I called it for $99. I'm starting a course tonight. I've already signed up for the free webinar on Wednesday. Thanks so much. Oh man, Ruben.
Oh man, thanks so much. And yes, everybody on here, make sure you guys sign up for our free webinar. We're going to be doing free webinars along with these YouTube lives for the remainder of the year. This week, we're talking about what's that startup cost. So how much do you need to get started in mobile home investing? We're going to be going over the different markets in mobile home investing and kind of what that actual startup cost will look like because each market is different. So Byron's going to drop that link right now, but you definitely want to make sure you are in these free webinars. We're going to be talking about different topics each week. So again, alongside of our programs, we give so much free game. You definitely want to make sure you guys are in these webinars for the rest of the year.
Yes, no, seriously. Then I'm gonna drop the $99 course special. If you didn't get it, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that. And then let's see, we had another. I like this. Juwan said, give it to someone if you're not interested. Great content. I like this one. We got about 2 more questions for you, B.
All right.
Did you set yourself up as business first or personal investor?
Did I set myself up as a business? Yes, because I am a businessman. Yes, as I have mentioned, I had already facilitated a mindset of I am a business, and in order for me to have quit what people think, people think jobs are security, but that is an oxymoron. I'm the security. I'm betting on me. So I had to think of myself as the business first. And that's why I started, that's why I got a luxury vehicle and started renting out that vehicle. I started making income from that vehicle, and I got to drive it for free and get back and forth to these leads that I was checking out, right? So definitely I'm a business first, for sure.
Yeah, and when I tell y'all, I ain't gonna put the business out, but that vehicle is a very, very, very nice vehicle. I'm pulled up like, yo, okay.
I think
While you ran into me, I ran into you, and I was like,
you want to train?
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's what's up. So we got one last question for you, B, man. I know you said you got to get on the money call. I like this. Says, are you looking for any more partners at this time? I'm based in Chicago.
I am interested in more partnerships. Eventually, I would like to be in a space where I'm overseeing and acting as capital, and not, back and forth to the park or attracting someone that I can trust to set eyes on a place. So if you're the right person, call me.
Yeah. So Bryanas actually in a Facebook group as well.
Yes, she is.
So yeah, from there, I think I think if you see this replay, B may be able to see that question, and we get to see your face, because again, I don't know why it does that, Facebookality rules and all that kind of stuff like that, but it's all good. But man, this was a dope interview. I love it, man.
Thank you so much for taking out your time to come hang out with us and talk to our viewers about mobile home investing and what it has done for you so far. So we really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys, allowing me to step into your space and on your platform. You guys have like the best following. So even with some of these questions I'm hearing, it's just like, you guys have a good following behind you and in front of you. And that's what's important, right? Is picking people up. I like to be myself a leader, not a boss. So,
I love it, man.
Thank you so much. Hang on for a sec, B. But thank you so much. Man, listen, that was a phenomenal. When I tell you guys, I love it because the reason I love it is because it wasn't the perfect situation. It was so many, I see right here, Desmond said, right, it was dope. It was so much good information. It was so many things that happened while her, so many people would have got discouraged. We would have been frustrated. Like, really? Like, come on. Like, everything that could have went wrong happened within their deal, right? But they were persistent. They relied on each other. She talked about a lot of meditation. Like, it was so much to get past that. And guess what? They made it past the finish line and still made money.
Yes. And what I love about it is because Bryana been dropping gems this entire interview. So man, we definitely, the replay will be up on our YouTube page. So you definitely want to make sure you go back and watch everything, because she definitely dropped some gems just even on the negotiation tactics. She said a lot of key things that you want to talk about when you are negotiating these mobile homes.
Yeah. So again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Again, we back every Monday with the interview series. So next week we got an amazing guest from down in Atlanta. Can't wait for you guys to see this queen. She's down there on fire.
Yeah, she's killing it. So yes. Make sure y'all tune in next week, same time, 7 o'clock Central Time.
Yes. Have a blessed one.
Have a good one.